What's up? So today we'll be recapping Pretty Little Liars season 3. So this season starts off with it's been 5 months since R.I.P. We lost the best character in the show, Maya, and our main character and Emily has become sort of an alcoholic due to the fact that her first ever girlfriend was killed randomly, and they think that Garrett, the guy in jail, is the true killer. What's been happening since the season 2 finale? Arya's been something. Hannah's been doing cooking class with Caleb. Emily's been in Tahiti building stuff, and Spencer took a full board at Hollis, even though she's like 16. And what they have with the show? How are these characters able to get to Hollis when they're like 16 to 17-year-old teenagers? They're in high school. Hollis is a college. They even call it Hollis College. How are these teenagers able to get into this high school? I get Ezra's able to get into it and Byron because they're like, 20 to 40-year-olds. But how are these high schoolers able to get into here and be able to offer jobs and work there when they're just like 16 to 17-year-old teenagers? So then parallel season 1 happens where Emily just disappears, and this is what happens. This is the entire season where Emily wakes up and discovers that she was in Allison's grave, and there's some and she cannot remember why she just randomly shows up to Allison's grave, and that's basically the whole season. Her trying to remember what happened the night during the season premiere. And there's some things about Jenna and Noel picking her from a diner. She talking about Maya and then just jumping out of it. Her going to Paige's house, Paige kissing her, and her just leaving. There's a lot of stuff that happened. And then someone just digging up Allison's grave. So we also learned. So as Arya is more in love than ever, but we also meet the other Fitzes in the show. We meet Fitz's Ezra's mom, who is obviously the worst, and I don't like her. We also meet Ezra's brother, Wes, played by Greg Sulkin. If you remember Greg Sulkin, he played Mason on The Wizard of Waverly Place. And he's kind of a good actor. I just think his English accent needs some work. When I first saw him, I was like, oh, that's real bad. Like, I didn't like his English accent. It didn't seem like all that good. Compared to other English where characters had to play English-speaking characters, like Callie and other characters, I just didn't find his all that interesting. But we also learned that Ezra had a son, that he got a girl pregnant in high school named Maggie, and she had a son. And for some reason, the son Malcolm, has two actors. He's played by one actor in his first appearance, and then at the way end of the show, the kid just switches actors to another one, who I think sticks around. So Mona isn't. So let's also talk about Mona. Mona is still in Radley, which they call better than jail. She's still in Radley. That's what they call better than jail, and the only person to see her is, of course, Hannah, where Hannah basically tells her about how she basically doesn't want to talk to Hannah until she's like, you're getting those texts, aren't you? And Hannah's like, what text? And then Mona's just like, for the entire scene. That is just creepy. And then and there's also this new A that shows up. She's like, Mona played with dolls. This new A plays with body parts. And that's basically the girl's mission this season, is to how to stop the new A, or the second A. Which, yeah. And also, my third character, Toby, is revealed to be on the 18 for some reason. But it's later revealed that he just did to protect Spencer, to find out what Mona knows. So, while happening, he lets Spencer cry outside his loft while Mona eats their anniversary dinner. So that makes Spencer think. And then, here's some lazy writing, everybody. Spencer finds a body with the same tattoo as Toby and is thinking, oh, Toby's dead. Then she gets herself committed to Radley, and she will not believe anyone else that Toby's alive. That's just lazy writing. Do you know why it's lazy writing? Because she doesn't even look to see the face of the dead body she thinks Toby. She just sees his tattoo and is like, oh, I guess Toby's dead. Gotta commit herself to Radley and still thinks Toby's dead. Like what? That's just lazy writing. Like, she doesn't even look to see who it is. The liar's trying to tell her, like, it's not Toby, but she's like, it's Toby. Like, and then you try to tell her it's not, and she's like, no, it's Toby. Like, how do you know that? Just because the guy that you saw has the same tattoo as Toby, you're like, oh, it's Toby. That's just lazy writing. And that's just lazy writing. And then Deadpool would say, oh, that's lazy writing. Because it's true, Deadpool. It's true, Wade Wilson. That is lazy writing. Because she doesn't even check the face of the person that she thinks is Toby. She just sees the tattoo of the guy and says, oh, I guess that's Toby. I guess Toby's dead. And just goes on thinking that Toby's dead until Toby reveals that he's not. Like, that's just lazy writing. Oh, show. But anyway, back on that. Emily meets Maya's cousin, Nate St. Germain, who basically pretends to be her friend. So they yes, and we also meet a new character, Cece Drake, and a former friend of Allison's who has a past with Allison. Yeah. Also, Arya also found that Meredith Swanson, the girl that slept with her, that had an affair with her dad, is back in Rosewood and is becoming a teacher. But when Arya tells Meredith that her dad about the letter, and she explains how she tried her dad's office, and she got that voice message from him saying about how he destroyed her office. She goes and while Arya's sick one day. Yeah, I think that Mystery Loves Company is my favorite episode because Arya deals with Meredith. Because I don't like Meredith. I don't like her that much. She's an okay character, but the way they deal with her in this episode is really amazing. How they deal with her. Actually, they don't kind of deal with her. I'm going to get to that. They don't kind of deal with her, but I'll get to that. So it's revealed that Meredith has been putting drugs in Arya's tea, basically drugging Arya to keep her asleep. And then when Emily and Hannah find out about this, they get locked in the basement with a drugged Arya. Yeah, this show just got crazy. And then Arya's dad reveals that he never actually hurt Allison. Allison was going to reveal the affair to reveal the affair to Ella, and he tried to stop her because he liked Allison and all that stuff. So yeah, and then it's revealed that Meredith just was able to run away or leave. She's not even dealt with. She's when the police find her, police go to her apartment. She just finds everything empty, meaning that Meredith is on the run for trying to drug her now ex-boyfriend kid. Okay, speaking of kids, Hannah finds out that Caleb's uncle is really his father. Yeah, Caleb's father has pretended to be Caleb's uncle because he thinks that if he thinks he's just the weird Uncle Jamie, he'll just. But then Hannah tries to butt into Caleb's personal life because it's Hannah, everybody, and Caleb's not kind of happy about that, but he tries to get along with him until he discovers that. Yeah, and also Ashley begins dating. Hannah's mom begins dating a new character named Pastor Ted, who I enjoy his character. He's a pretty cool character. There's also so in episode 12, which is a very important episode. So actually, wait, no, these are episodes, but so. Cece tells Spencer about past between Allie and Paige, about how Allie used to write Paige love letters using Emily because Allie's evil, and So Spencer basically tells his family, and Emily's like, "What? You really suspect me to trust a friend we barely know over a friend I've known for like 3 seasons?" Yeah, right. And so this starts Spencer's investigation into Paige, and this causes a rift between her and Emily, because Emily's thinking, wait a minute, why was she supposed to trust a friend she just met over a friend that she knew for like a friend she just met, or a friend she knew for a couple of her girlfriend, which she knew for like 3 seasons. So that puts them on the out. But when Nate St. Germain is revealed to be Lyndon James, Maya's ex-boyfriend that she met at True North, who she tried to get away from, but he obviously became obsessed with her, and obviously became obsessed with Emily too, thinking that Emily chose Emily chose her over him. I think he means Paige, because they kissed like one time. So so then Paige is just trying to chase down Lyndon James is trying to chase Emily. Yeah, he's just like he faked the name Nate St. Germain. So Lyndon is trying to chase Emily up the stairs, trying to kill her. But then who shows up but my boy? But Emily accidentally stabs Lyndon. But he gets up and shoots Caleb off the screen. Obviously, Caleb isn't dead. He just is fine. He doesn't die. But who does? Lyndon. Lyndon died. And they basically say that he didn't kill Allison, or Garrett didn't kill Allison or Maya, so Garrett's out of jail. But out of getting out of jail, so then we go to episode 13, where the Halloween train is in motion, and A tries to kill Arya. He also kills. It's A. The new A tries to kills Arya, kills Garrett because Garrett reveals hey, or he saw after making Jenna think that he killed Allison, he saw Allison talking to Byron. And obviously Arya, as I said before, this is before the whole marriage thing, but as I say that, so I'm just getting that mood. First Arya doesn't believe it, but then when the whole marriage thing happens, she eventually does. So yeah, when Meredith tries to drug her and kill Arya, tries to drug Arya, and then Meredith leaves. He reveals to Arya that that Allison was going to reveal to Ella the truth about his relationship, and he was going to leave. So yeah, so while that's happening, the new A kills Garrett because Arya's stuffed in the trunk. Arya discovers dead Garrett's body. Yeah, weird that they let Garrett out of the way to kill him in the next episode. So, yeah. So, in another episode, Mona, my worst favorite character, which gets worse in every single episode she appears in, tells Arya and Hannah that Arya is a killer, not Ezra's wife, and that Maya is. Where were they? Well, Maya was sleeping softly, and no one can save Allie from evil. And she keeps saying no one can save Allie from evil, no one can save Allie from evil. And that's basically code to a Maya website. Yeah, a Maya website. Yeah, this is where the whole Lyndon reveal happens. Where Lyndon makes Emily watch Maya's videos, but watch a video of Maya, but I'm just saying, this is where, so, yeah. We also have Robbie and Melon this season, Ronnie Raymond, Stephen Mel's cousin, as Noel's brother. And he's kind of a one-episode character. He's kind of not all that important to mention. He's just a one-episode character. And he just disappears from the show and never be seen again. He's just a one-episode appearance. Who cares? And then in episode 14, we see the return of Mona. Because Mona tells Hannah that she was able to that Mona begged her parents to return to school. But obviously the others aren't buying any of this. They still believe that Mona is up to her old trick in being A. So, they still think that Mona is still up to her A tricks. Even Hannah's grandma shows up for a one episode appearance in this season. So yeah. So Mona continues her A trick. It's during Toby and Spencer's anniversary. It's revealed that Toby has been working for the 18th. And Mona eats their anniversary dinner while Spencer cries in the background. And as I said, this is when Spencer makes believe that this is where the lazy writing comes in, where she totally thinks that Toby's dead because she sees the same tattoo that he's had, and she's like, oh, he's dead now, which kind of is like lazy writing, because when she want to look at she looks at the tattoo that Toby had, the same guy that this guy has, and thinks, oh, this is Toby's obviously dead, but we all know that's not Toby, because Toby's later revealed to be alive. So this basically this basically makes Spencer go on a downward spiral, lashing out at everyone, lashing at her friends, lashing out at Mona, and then she just randomly decides, hey, she'll go into Radley. And there, she meets Eddie Lamb, who we all know from Dean Bayfield from The Fosters. I guess Dean Bayfield survived and booked it out of Rosewood. Yeah, that's a... Dean Bayfield is here in this show before he was on The Fosters, and he plays Eddie Lamb. and she kind of makes the connection that Toby used that name to get into Bradley. Yeah, and they try, and then they find out, they find Spencer at Radley, and they're basically trying to convince her, like, hey, Toby's not dead, like, come back. But she's like, oh, yeah, he is, and I'm not coming back. Like, this is lazy writing. Lazy writing. Like, she sees a tattoo of the guy, of a tattoo of the same one Toby had, and just thinks he's dead. Does not see the face. Does not see anything else. Just looks at the tattoo of him and says, "Oh, Toby's dead," and then cries about it. And then gets herself committed to Bradley after. But yeah, it's just like this. This is lazy writing, buddy. Lazy writing. Lazy writing. Because come on, wouldn't she be able? I get it. And also, who has the same tattoo? Toby, but yeah. So in this scene, Arya finds out from West, and also Ezra's mom blames Arya for everything. Ezra's mom blames Arya for everything that bad in her life, and doesn't want Ezra to ruin Arya and all this stuff. But still, here's what I say about this, and it is going to be a good thing. Is that Ezra has a son named Malcolm, and as I said before, he switches actors from one kid in the first episode he appears in to a second kid in the rest of the episodes he appears in as the main character of the show, but Spencer kidnaps him and pretends to be Allison. And Arya's mom just shows up at that carnival. Yeah. So, yeah. Kidnaps him and pretends to be Allison. And he's like, hey, that was her. That was the person that you saw with the blonde hair. That's Allison. And it's just like, kid, Allison is D-E-A-D. Dead. Allison is dead, everybody. We do not want to believe that she's alive. We do not want to believe, because Allison's dead. This kid saw Spencer go by as Allison. Cause yeah. So anyway, let's talk about, as I said, Hannah's father. We know Caleb's father. Caleb was great this season. I love Caleb. He's still my favorite character. But yeah. So he and Hannah get back together. He teams up. He sends Hannah a text saying about how he's the new A, and then he teams up with Paige to take down Mona. Weirdly, Beast Boy's here. Hey, I'm Beast Boy. Yeah, that's my word. That's the Beast Boy way. So yeah, do the push-up, Beast Boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So anyway. So what happened is that Hannah Spencer teams up with Mona, gets out of Radley. She gets out of Radley, and she doesn't. But she meets up with Toby, and Toby's like, "Hey, the only reason why I teamed up with Mona was to protect you all." And she's like, yeah, right." And then they end up banging or sleeping together or whatever it's called. And yeah, so Hannah puts on a red coat to see if Spencer's still loyal. So they go. Toby reveals that he wasn't really part of the A-team. Someone shows up. The cabin gets burned down. Someone saves them out of the fire. Mona's like, "It was Allison. Allison saved them." And they're like, "No, Mona, you were hallucinating." And then they discover something in a car, which was later to be revealed to be a pig. which kind of disappoints me because it's like they do this like, what is this that they're finding in this trunk, only to reveal that it's a pig in the next episode. Like, on show. Okay, and Arya says goodbye to Ezra. Okay, so that was season 3. I didn't think it was half bad of a season. I thought it was really good with the whole Emily finding out who really dug up Alex's body storyline, the Dr. Sullivan returning storyline. But I just gotta say, the Spencer thinking that Toby's dead storyline just because of a tattoo is the most terrible thing that I've ever seen from the show in terms of writing. I probably skipped it, but what I saw, she just saw a tattoo and then immediately thought Toby's dead. That's terrible writing. That's lazy writing. I don't think the season's bad. It's a very good season. And Arya will always be my least favorite couple. I thought that Ezra was going to be caught by the principal when he was like, hey, are you still seeing Ezra Fitz to Arya? And she's like, no, bro, I'm not seeing him. When she is. And it's just so, like, what? This season may be one of my favorite seasons. It just has problems. This season has problems. The problem is the Spencer thinking Toby's dead scene. She sees a tattoo that Toby has the same tattoo. Everybody. Toby has the same tattoo. And from this tattoo, she's like, oh, I guess Toby's dead. Like, Spencer, how did you come up with this? You cannot think that a guy is dead based on a tattoo that your ex-boyfriend has. Like Toby has that tattoo, and this other guy has the same one. So based on that tattoo, she's just like, oh, I guess Toby's dead. That is just lazy writing. Nothing against the writing people of this show, but they could have done better. They could have had Spencer see the face of the person, but no, she's just like, oh, tattoo, guess it's Toby, cry, gets into Radley. That is just lazy writing. And also, I did very good moment. Also, was Arya? Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I almost forgot Arya's name. I don't know why, but was Arya meant to be the original villain? Because as Mona says to Arya, you're Arya, you're a killer, not Ezra's wife. That even Lucy Hale herself that was an Arya villain tease, but obviously no, it's not, because the show is so predictable and so bad when it comes to setting this up, and we are not even through the terribleness that is season 6 and 7. Hold up, this show gets bad, and I've seen it. Guess what? The show, from my point of view, this show could have ended during season 5, but no. They had to end it with 2 more seasons that just drag out the story. I will be watching and recapping those seasons, but beware, because I will not have a time with those seasons. Season 6 is my least favorite season when I originally watched PPLL. I don't know if that will be the same based on the rewatch, but for now, I will not be. Originally, I didn't know I was gonna think of season 6, and I was like, "Ooh, season 6," but I just did not like that season. That season is one of the worst seasons of PPLL. But we have season 4, season 5, we have 4 more seasons till we get to that. 3 more before we get season 6. Or 4 more before we finish the season. But anyway, I'll see you next time for some more Pretty Little Liars recap. This season was shocking. This season was okay. This season was pretty good. But I just do not like how they made Spencer think that Toby was dead based on a tattoo. I don't get that. That was one of the worst moments of the show. Because they thought... Of course they had Spencer end up in Radley. But she ends up in Radley because she thinks Toby's dead over a tattoo. That Toby has that she hasn't. So confusing. But anyway, I'll see you next time for some more PPLO recaps. And remember to remember to stay happy. Yeah, stay happy.